Joining us now, economics correspondent for Politico, Victoria Guida, partner and co-founder of Flynn Zito Capital Management, Doug Flynn, plus economic strategist Francis Stacy. Great to have you all here. Let's start with this, Francis. You look at what happened here on this trip. Clearly, we just went through all the wins, but one of the big takeaways, I think, today is the talk about nuclear war testing here. Some new weapons. That's one thing President Trump took away from this. He says we got to be on the same level here as Russia and China. What do you think happened that made him feel that that was something we got to do now here in the U.S.? And before we do that, let's just touch base here as President Trump has arrived back here at the White House. This is after that trip where he went overseas and made these deals here with China, Malaysia. So he's back now today, and he's going to have this meet with some trick-or-treaters for Halloween today. So
he has great range.
Maybe he's going to just pump the brakes here and enjoy that trip that he had. But let's bring back in our panel here and talk a little bit more about this trip. Francis, I want to go back to you with this. Nuclear weapons, one of the topics of conversation right now, and President Trump wants the U.S. to be on the same equal basis as both Russia and China. Your takeaway?
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, we've seen these sort of threats that World War III is just an escalation away. And that's true. National security is of the utmost importance. But what he's really doing here is the art of the deal, right? What he's doing is he's strategically getting in bed with all of the countries that China could get on their team in order to have enough leverage to come against the U.S. So he's made trade deals with all of the other countries in Southeast Asia. And, he's talking to Australia, he's talking to Thailand. They have huge reserves for rare earths metals. And so I guess, national security being number one thing that didn't really go on is obviously they agreed to purchase more U.S. energy. They left Taiwan off the table, and they left cutting China's purchasing of Russian oil off the table because they probably wouldn't have gotten this de-escalation. So now we are dating China. The first time around, they did not keep their agreements on fentanyl, soybeans, intellectual property. They broke all of those agreements. They say yes, and then they do no. So now we have a year of testing them.
Yeah. We'll have to see how it plays out. But Victoria, again, China did agree to start purchasing U.S. energy. So, again, that is a blow to Russia. That is a blow to Putin, obviously, because China is their biggest purchaser of energy at this point. So how do you think that plays out?
Yeah, so these commitments are pretty significant from China's perspective, but as Francis was mentioning, there are a lot of times in the past that China has committed to stuff and then not followed through. And so I think that the exact way that this plays out geopolitically, the extent to which it actually puts pressure on Russia, depends on the extent to which China actually lives up to its agreements. And so we could see continuing tensions if the Trump administration feels that China is not living up to its end of the bargain.
Doug, and your take here on the rare earth ban that ended, that was another big deal here because, these products are used for foreign militaries, processing semiconductors. So this is big, too. This reopens those that transfer there of goods. We know that means a lot for our national security as well.
Absolutely. He walked in there with deals from Malaysia and a couple of other countries for the rare earth minerals because China was kind of holding us hostage by holding that back from us. So reducing the reliance on China, giving those to us, was a really key part of the negotiation when he walked in there so that, we weren't held by, hey, we really need these rare earth materials from you. We have 4 other countries already signed that we're going to get them from. So it really kind of shifted things. And, this whole deal, which you've rattled off a lot of things on the wins here in China. He did this meeting in less than 2 hours, by the way. That's pretty amazing to get all this done in that short a period of time. But that does set us up that we have multiple ways to get those materials. We're not reliant on any one country. So diversifying that base for us is really key in keeping us independent and doing what we need to do. Absolutely.
That's right. 90 minutes, pretty productive meeting, as you pointed out there, Doug. Francis, let's talk about the overall economic wins here, I'll say, specifically with the tariffs. China agrees, U.S. cuts China tariffs down to 47%. Lots of other tariffs. Thailand framework eliminates 99% of tariff barriers. Again, those tariffs that were described as, I would say, kind of a dirty word when they first came out, and we saw a lot of liberal melting down, seem to be working out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, how many people really thought that tariffs were the end of the year or the end of the world, and we would have rampant inflation and this was going to collapse our economy? And the economy could not be in a better place right now. Growth is over 3%. Unemployment is down at 4.3%. Credit markets are showing a little cracks in the auto loans in certain places, but we don't have anything systemic. We have a record amount of liquidity in the system. The Fed did lower rates, saying December is not a foregone conclusion. But Trump is very patient. He is incredibly patient. He's being patient with the government shutdown, and he's been incredibly patient with these trade deals.
Yeah.
And basically, he got China surrounded and got something done.
Victoria, why do you think that Taiwan never came up on this trip? President Trump said that wasn't part of their conversation. China, they want to take over Taiwan. That's been very well documented. Do you think that maybe happens in the next meeting here in April next year?
So this has been a very delicate dance on the part of the U.S. The president has not been entirely clear as to how he's going to approach the Taiwan issue, and perhaps he hasn't, he doesn't want to play his cards there yet. But clearly there is still strategizing to try and make sure that. You think about Taiwan's importance in the semiconductor industry, right? There's a lot of economic interests that the U.S. has in not having that be taken over by China. And so, I think that we could see that come up, but with President Trump, you can never say for sure.
That's exactly right. But to use his words again, he gives his meeting a 12, all of his meetings a strip, a 12 out of a 10. So again, very, very happy. And he is now, of course, back at the White House, as we saw. Halloween festivities coming up. All right, Doug, Francis, Victoria, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.